the thing that I remember best about my experience with the Capitol Theatre was in the mid-80s. I was lucky enough to do a movie over in the Seychelles with Oliver Reed, which was directed by an iconic cinematographer called Nicholas Roeg, who only recently passed away actually. And it was a film that it was a very exciting experience filming in the Seychelles for 3 weeks with one of my childhood heroes in Oliver Reed. That film had a big premiere in London, but I didn't get to go to that. I was sort of busy over this way, but there was a premiere here in Melbourne at the Capitol Theatre, and people from in the film industry came along to it. My memory is that the Capitol, the entrance to the Capitol was sort of tucked away a bit. You went down the arcade and you had to sort of, you went in this door and there was this great discovery of this cinema that was, hitherto not really that well known. And I do remember when I was sitting down watching the movie, waiting for it to roll, just looking at the roof and thinking how wonderful it was just to have a building that was obviously had a function as a cinema, but to have it being such an iconic piece of architecture as well at the same time, So it's great to hear that that RMIT, the amazing, wonderful RMIT, are going to be taking over the theatre and using it as one of their facilities, because RMIT itself is unique in Melbourne in the sense that it's the only university per se right in the heart of Melbourne. As a university student once, I was always sort of jealous of the people at RMIT being so close to the hubbub of Melbourne, which is always still a hubbub and still exciting. So that brings RMIT right down to the heart, having a building down there where the Capitol is. If you think about places like New York, that have got 1 million theatres, near Times Square in all shapes and sizes, it's the making of a city to have theatres and cinemas that are special. It's a great name, the Capitol Theatre. It means the sort of most important place in town, and probably at one stage it probably was. And to know that that's being revived and more people are going to see it is a great thing. And I think also putting it in the hands of RMIT means that it'll be maintained. It won't just sort of be a half-baked idea that'll go for 5 minutes. It'll live on in history, as the Capitol Theatre should.
Through my RMIT media subject, the Capitol Theatre, we were able to go on a tour of the Capitol Theatre whilst it was mid-construction. It was quite amazing to see that the Capitol itself had been maintained so effectively to the original architecture. To see this 1920s architecture in the modern day is something that you don't really see often, and I think it's pretty incredible. Then to add the addition of the LED lights and the iconic roof is a real juxtaposition of the old and the new, which I think is an accurate representation of what RMIT is trying to do with the Capitol Theatre, which us as students will be able to use and not only just have as a building, but have as a place that we can kind of go to see each other's work, to watch films, to just embrace in the whole culture of screen. So with the Capitol building being refurbished and reopened in May as an RMIT building, I think it's pretty humbling and pretty cool in general. I think it's pretty archetypal that RMIT itself can use the building for purposes like screenings and just in general. I don't think a lot of other buildings of that nature have been used by other universities in Australia, and yeah, it's pretty groundbreaking, I suppose. All the architecture itself that had still been restored was held to the same quality as the 1920s original architects had planned it to be. And I don't know, but for me personally, I think that kind of finessing of the building is really, it shows the love and everything that RMIT and everyone who's working on the building wants to put back into it. So the addition of the LEDs in the roof, I found was a modern twist on a really iconic piece of architectural history. Before the LEDs were installed, obviously it'd look visually stunning, but I think the way that they were able to strobe through the colours and really just push through everything and all the hues and whatever you want really was really breathtaking. So for me personally, I'm pretty excited that as an RMIT student, I'll be able to have the opportunity to screen my short films at the Capitol Theatre. And like the Capitol is like such a huge cultural shrine within the film scene, and being able to say that you've had your film screened at the Capitol Theatre, it's like a pretty large thing, so yeah, stoked for that. Not only would I be able to screen my work at the Capitol, I'd also be able to get peer reviews from it, and really kind of get the gist and sense of like what people actually think of my work.